Are humans aging slower? Quite frankly, it is an age-old question, and today's video we are going to be delving into the possible solutions and answers to this question. So let's start off. This person could be called Frank. They are 2 years old. So let's say that their life has been split into 2 sections, both 1 year. When this person is going to turn 3, that is obviously gaining them another third of their entire lifespan. Whereas you take even just a 10-year-old, if they're going to get their life split into 2 sections of 5, and they get just 1 year older, that is going to be a 10th of their life. You get it up to an 80-year-old, that is going to be an 80th of their life. So you guys can see how aging is now a lot slower. So that is Frank and Margaret. Thanks for doing a very epic demonstration. If you enjoyed the video or find it educational, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're going to be delving on to labour, which is quite a cool thing. So this L can be somebody's wage in, let's say, the 1800s, sure. And then this can be somebody's wage in the 2000s, which is obviously quite the same. But if you think, in the olden days, that would get them, let's just say, M for money and food, and then M for money and food. Like, that's going to get you the same, because products over time have got more expensive, so that's going to be the same wage. However, in this time, food quality is going to be higher, which I'll just write F for higher, and like here, like, it's not really going to be that good. It's going to be maybe dirty. Water, especially, water is going to be very down here, whereas water these days is quite clean, so that is going to affect our health. And labour has a big part in health that most humans these days don't realise how significant it is. So yeah, let's draw this cup of water. If you're drinking that, these days it's going to be a lot more cleaner. Let me just make a table really quick. And in the olden days it's going to be dirtier. And if it's dirtier, you're going to get more harmful chemicals in your body, and also it's going to help you like age more, whereas here, when it's cleaner, there's going to be less harmful chemicals and it's going to age you less, and it's actually going to have a benefit, which is a huge, and then no benefits, which is obviously quite bad. So yeah, even just a cup of water 100 years ago could really help you change from now. And now we are going to be delving on to medication. So in the olden days, there were going to be more diseases, like, I don't really know, I've gone blank. The plague, let's take the plague. Like, in the olden days, people are going to be dying way more from the plague. That stands for people dying plague. That's going to be really high. Whereas these days, if there were a disease like the plague, which is COVID, not many people died from COVID, so COVID deaths are going to be like, let's say, like 1,000 per 100 million. Like, why is this so slow at writing? Whereas in the olden days, it's more going to be like a 1 out of 1.5 people die from the plague, which is like quite an impactful thing. And then again, if one of your family members unfortunately dies of it, you are not going to have the best mental health, which means you aren't going to care for yourself, which your self-care is going to significantly drop, which means you could catch something. This is you. Let me just like draw a stick figure. Then you could, if you catch something, very good, sneezing, like, you may die, then that affects your whole entire family. Whereas now, like, you're not really going to like die as easily from disease, because like you got cancer and stuff, like, they're quite easy to cure now. Lifestyle. In the olden days, people were put more to labour like hard, just general like hard work, like dirtier lifestyle, like all these like negative impacts. O can stand for old, then P can stand for present. Like these days it's quite clean, like everyone's quite healthy these days, and also it's honestly quite pleasant to live, which is like not a lie, because like 200 years ago people would have been like working extremely hard, like in the mines and stuff, like breathing in like these horrible chemicals. Like imagine these are the chemicals that are entering this person's mouth in the mines. I know a very good drawing, but like this person can be in the mines working, whereas like these days if you like work, you could be like any job these days, most jobs these days, like you can be quite happy like working away, where your little clipboard with you and stuff. I'm not the best drawer, by the way, so yeah, don't be mean to me in the comments. I hope this video does well, it's quite educational. Cosmetics. So, in the olden days, let's take a woman. Let me draw a very epic, very high quality female. This person can have eyes. In the olden days, they're maybe 50, they're going to have quite a lot of wrinkles, you know what I mean? Because like, there's not really like any products these days in these times that reduce wrinkles, so they're going to look quite old and stuff. Whereas you take most 50-year-old women these days, like they don't really have wrinkles, they just have a bit of grey in hair, but most people use hair dye these days. So if you compare a picture of a woman in the 1700s who was 40 to a woman in 2023 who was 40, then there would obviously be a large difference. Okay, so now we're going to compare it on a more present scale. So if you've got a 50-year-old in 2023, they could look like a 30-year-old in 1700. That's because back then there would have been war, bad health. Let me just like write the letter abbreviations. War, health, like conflict, hard jobs, like, you know what I mean? There's going to be more of these things that like don't benefit and have negative impacts on your overall well-being and health and all sorts of stuff like that. So now for our next topic. We are now going to be delving into a summarisation, but don't worry, there'll be some bonus points at the end. So this is 2023 as a human. Let's say they were born in 1963. That makes them 60 years old. Like these days, like most 60-year-olds, like men, are just kind of like bald. Like they have a few wrinkles, but most of them don't look bad these days. But like, if you take a picture of somebody who was 60, like even just 100 years ago, they would have looked way older, because companies that sell cosmetics which help you will not have been made yet, and they'll probably have like, what do you call these, sideburns? Yeah, like hair just looks a lot different. So yeah, this person will also have had worse health care, like he could have like tumours on his body, like lumps. He could be sneezing a lot, whereas this guy is drinking clean water, like he's got nice breath, whereas this person's got a icky, horrible, not so nice breath. Okay, now for our bonus topics. Weather. You may be thinking, Kepler, what has weather got to do with the benefits and the negative impacts of ageing? Well, let me tell you first, once I've rubbed this out. Okay, let me just do this. Okay, I'm not going to cut. So this is the Earth. Like in the olden days, like especially in the Ice Age, but no one was alive then, like it's going to be very cold. Let's say that it's minus 15 degrees. Well, no, that's actually, let's just say plus 15 degrees on average every day on Earth. I think now it's about 19. Like, people aren't going to get much vitamin D, which helps you look healthy and also is healthy for your body, preventing you from getting like disease and stuff. I'm not really the best scientific person in the world, so yeah, don't comment the most difficult questions to me. But yeah, sure, please comment stuff and I will try and answer them to the best I can. Okay, so let's take, that can be maybe 1,000 years ago. So like you got the Earth here, like people on it, like Again, there's going to be war, conflict, bad health care, dirty water, dirty foods. Like, it's going to be colder. Like, these people aren't really getting much heat, much sun. However, if they was in war, they'll be sweating a lot. And if you sweat a lot when you're cold, it's not really the best healthy thing in the world. Whereas if you take, let me say, after global warming's gone, after I'm dead, like let's say 2150, this can be a big year. So we've got the Earth here, very epic Earth. Like the average temperature here will probably be about 20 degrees. And that means that in the sun, there'll be much more like UV rays and heat hitting the Earth, which will be absorbing into the equator and stuff. I'm not the best physical geography person, although I'm quite good at flags. Yeah, please ask me stuff. I don't really know what to say. Okay, so there'll be a lot more heat now, and people, again, less war, more healthcare. People that have better food, cleaner water, and more stuff like that. So that is quite great. And for our bonus topic, where you live. And you may be thinking, okay, he's rambling on a bit now, and I am. I'll end the video after this. So yeah, where you live. You think, if I move to Antarctica, it's going to be very cold there. I'm going to get very little heat from there. Like, let's just put -degrees 24/7. Like, there's going to be no heat there, is there? Same like the South Pole. And if I live somewhere like Australia, it's going to be quite warm there. And like, I'm going to be getting more sun, and like, life is just genuinely better, because like, if you absorb the sun, you're going to get a nice skin colour and like vitamins which help you maintain a good life. Whereas if you live right on the equator, if you just live in this area here, I think is like the best area in the world to live in for heat. Maybe up here too. Like, you're going to get like a good amount of heat from the sun. And also, usually like countries are quite nice around there. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling on a bit now. Maybe I'll make a part 2 that's much better than this, because this has kind of been a bad video. And I'm going to go edit now. See ya.